As Sister Sylvina has made it very clear, our objective is to teach those of you who bless us with your presence something about everything. We have embarked on a new year, and many of us who live in Europe, we repeat every year that we're not going to spend December and January in Europe because it's way too cold. We say this every year, right? So at the end of the show, all of those who say every year want us to stay behind for half hour because we're going to make a song together. We say every year and never fulfill that aspiration as a song. And if we cut it right, someone's got good vocals, we may be able to raise enough funds from a hit song that will pull us up all out of this cold, wintry, snowy Europe. Because as you know, most of us, we spend most of our time in Europe for work because we have commitments, we have family, because obviously when you're working in the cold, you spend a lot of time in your home trying to stay warm. So children are going to be a consequence, right? So as a result of such, you get stuck, and the more you build your family in a cold place, is the more difficult it is to get out. Because you could have obviously spread your wings as an individual, but now you've got a family to relocate and to repatriate. So it's much more difficult, right? But I do think it's a goal that is worthy for us to, at least during these winter times, have somewhere, in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Asia, you choose. Wherever it's tropical, you choose. But we're here to help you to choose and to focus your mind on the fact that after 8 months, of even just working, or 11 months of working hard, 10 months of working hard, your mind, your body, your soul actually needs a rest for a couple of weeks and a couple of months. I'm being, very modest when I say weeks, but if you've lived in London for a whole year and you haven't taken a break, then there's a lot of people around you who are suffering because your attitude is not right, your spirit ain't right, and your perspective ain't right. You need a break. You need to be in an environment that is more conducive to your nature. England and Europe is not conducive to Afro-Caribbean people's nature. It really isn't. You can make it work because it's fun to go to the sales in December and buy yourself a new coat. Like, how is that progressive? Just to buy a new coat every year, just to justify staying in an icebox. And, one of the things I've noticed this year is the level of miserableness on people's faces has increased. It really has. So we're here to talk about tropical properties. And one of the things, Brother Fitzroy and Brother Laurie, who are my two special guests this Thursday, that I want to venture with you. They're going to speak about building property. By way of, we've had many people over the years who, as you mentioned, have had land in the Caribbean and specifically in Jamaica. And they have had, say, nightmares in trying to build out or build on the land. What would you advise if I'm say a green developer? I'm not experienced in building property or building a house in Jamaica, but my family has left me some land. What would you advise as the best process to take to ensure that I'm guided properly and don't end up, going down a dead end? What would you advise from that point, from inception, from the time I've realized I've got this land? What would you advise me to do to ensure that I'm not,
Get
Go ahead, Mister.
get
Go ahead,
yeah,
Lord.
get in touch with a registered professional. That's the the best advice for the moment. Get in touch with a registered professional, and they will guide you through the whole process properly. So that's part of the problem. Persons are contacting, hustlers, so to speak, and they promise them all different kind of things. So we have the organizations in Jamaica. So you could contact and get a list of registered professionals to work with. And that's the best answer I can really give right now.
Right.
And
So
I'll just expand on that a bit. It comes back to what I was saying earlier. The professionals would have to assess your land, the land title, to see if what your intention can be actually developed on that land. Because what you find sometimes is that you might need to get certain covenants lifted, certain covenant restrictions lifted. And once your restrictions are lifted, of course, you need to go through the courts and get an attorney. Once you get that lifted, then you actually engage the services of your architect team. And as Mr. Ferron said, the architect is the leader of the team, does his designs and everything. A QS and engineer comes on board and assist with the process. Mr. Ferron has extensive work where he has to go through the approvals.
Right.
And the approvals process can sometimes be very tedious, a lot of backing and forth in between architect, engineer, and the municipalities.
Right, but over the years we've developed a relationship with persons in the municipality. So once the see drawings come from certain professionals, their approvals are quicker. I took the liberty of putting up one of my most recent project in Kingston until we find the other coral gardens because I have to jump off for 1 o'clock. So this project here, for those who know Devon House, there is this private hospital called Andrews Memorial Hospital. I'm not sure if you're all familiarized with it. It's in Kingston. So we recently undertook to do a master plan, and so they're redeveloping the hospital. So part of it is about to start. So this is what I have on the screen. So essentially, they have some properties. I'm gonna and so this is a 10 supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-story building with a basement parking. So they're looking to do a residential property for the staff and the medical person. So if you're coming from England and you're a adjunct faculty person, you could have a suite here. The trained nurses at the Adventist University, Northern Caribbean University. So they'll host the students here, and so this is supposed to become a reality this year. We're going through the process. The design has been completed. The board has approved it, and so we're moving forward. So these are just images showing different parts of the building, and this is what it is. So this is part of what we do in terms of the data. So we're saying is a 7-story. We list the different things in there, and we have the square footage, and we have what it is. So this here basically tells you what you're going to be getting on a property, and we'll work out the density of the property, which is very, very very critical. So this is just one I wanted to just do as a filler until we get the other things ready. So if you already know, we can move to that other.
Yeah, we're just about to bring it up, but talk us through this one. Is this also a building? Is it privately owned, or is it again?
Right. So the hospital is privately operated and run by the Adventist Church in Jamaica, and so they have lands around the hospital, and so they're developing these for their own use. So it's not like they're going to be developing these for sale. They have a lot of staff that that commutes to work from Mandeville, from all over. So they want to accommodate the staff, doctors, nurses, support staff, and then persons come from overseas from time to time for consultancy. So they want to be able to not go to Pegasus and rent somewhere. So that's also part of a development. If you're an organization, people are like, for instance, a pension fund in Jamaica. They own quite a bit of development in Kingston. Not a lot of persons know. They also invest in hotels on the North Coast that help to replenish the stock. So if you have an organization in Europe and you want to come and invest, you can invest in Jamaica to keep your your thing going different from private. So there's a lot of different type of investment. It's not all driven by single person or entity, but it's organization driven too. So that's what this is. So this is just giving you a feel of just, and this is supposed to be going into the ground soon. Hopefully early next year, because it take about a year, and that's what it is too. It take about a year for your planning and approvals and all of that. So it's not we don't want people to come and say we're going to start do our investment today and build tomorrow. You need to give yourself at least 6 months to 1 year of planning, pre-planning, proper pre-planning. So when you finish all that pre-planning, then you have less issues because you properly planned it and get the proper approvals and put all your funding in place and your professionals, etc. So that's also an important factor to consider when planning to invest. For large scale development, small scale development, you can get it off the ground within 3 to 6 months.
Okay, so Kingston is still very hot. Pardon the pun.
Extremely hot. 90 degrees in the shade in more than one way. So so other places are catching on. It's spreading now all over. But as I said before, Kingston is mainly hot because they've put a lot of investment in the infrastructure for sewage. Without proper central sewage and water, the development cannot go as high as you want it, because 2 months from now, well, a year from now or 2 years from now, the sewage system is going to eventually break down, and that's part of the problem you're going to be having. So you can go probably 3 or 4 floors and still get away with it on a property once you provide an on-site sewage system that is maintainable. And maintenance is critical. So even if you finish a development like this, you have to put a maintenance plan in place for the upkeep of your development. All right.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Sylvina, you ready?
I have a few of them. I'm not sure which one of the Coral Gardens, but I'll share.
Yeah, the one that I just sent you, that's the one we want to showcase next. Okay. So if we could just start from the top and come down. So because a third of Jamaicans live in Kingston, to both of you, is that the reason why, if you have land in Kingston or the land is more valuable there than other places? Because we were showcasing last week, for instance, Negril, and it's been announced now that the new international airport in Jamaica is going to be based in Negril. So does that mean anybody who's thinking of repatriating to Jamaica and wants to make some immediate money by way of, if they want to build a house, the value of it will be intrinsically on the upward trajectory? Places like Negril and places like Kingston and places like Montego Bay, because these are touristy. Ocherius, yeah. That these are the hot spots.
Right, yeah, but what is happening now, because of the security issues, generally speaking, Kingston, St. Ann, anywhere in St. Ann, Trelawney is getting there because the water is there, the land is there. So we have some developments, 2 development that are close to going through in Trelawney, and it is close to the airport. So what's happening for your development is important to plan a gated community, a 24-hour gated community. The value of your houses consistently goes up because you're within a secured environment. So most returning residents are coming back, and you might not have been coming back on a yearly basis, and you have a cultural shock, believe it or not, even if you're a Jamaican and you've never been here for the last 10 years and you just come, it's going to be a culture shock. If you come here, if you're in Jamaica last year and you come back this year, it's going to be a different place because of the development. So Negril is good. Every town centers or every major towns in Jamaica and the areas leading off the towns are very good. But what is important is the gated community. That is the plus, and it increases your value. And
Right.
and believe, you know, and I'm sure that is happening everywhere in the world. Once you go into a gated community, it's, yeah, trust me, the value of your property, I can't emphasize it no more. It's you know, night and day versus if it isn't, it's not in a gated community, because you have a 24-hour security system, a walled around place, so you feel secure at night. And you know, you can, I'm not saying you should leave your door open or your window open, but you know, it's much better. So we're right for development, generally speaking, right through the country.
Right.
But
And I
Kingston
see, sorry, please proceed.
No, man, continue. No, I'm fine.
Yeah, because I see this tremendous growth taking place in Jamaica. And traditionally, you know, people would say, oh, you know, the place too violent, you can't go to Jamaica, them will kill you, them will this, them will that. And I was speaking to a man just yesterday, brother, who lives in Uganda. And I was meant to go to Uganda for a business trip. And I said to him, boy, I don't know about the yellow fever jab, and here's the mosquito, them down there, them vicious. And he said to me, Hakeem, never will anybody ever say to me ever again that the mosquitoes are this, the crime is that, and stop me from going back to Africa. He said, I want the mosquito them, I want the crime, I want everything. And whatever comes with that land, I'm not letting nothing stop me from going back home to the motherland and to the Caribbean. Is that the attitude, brother, that we need to start to develop?
Yes, yes, and we need to sell the idea that crime exists, but there are ways that you can mitigate it. You know, try and get into a gated community as much as you can. I tell you this, Saint Ann is I think they have the most development for residential single family homes in Jamaica right now. And then we have a part of St. Mary, which we call the St. Anne of St. Mary, which is the part that is closest, go back up to Baskerville. I know they have a new airport in Baskerville. So there, you know, it's quite nice, and it's quite nice. So everywhere is ready. You just have to pick your poison and you'll be ready. So we're good. We're open for business right through the country.
Yeah, I was last time I was there, I stayed in Runaway Bay by Cardival. I mean, that place was just so beautiful. I mean, Runaway Bay, jeez.
Yes.
You know.
So that's right. So you're good, man. We're good anywhere. And then, you know, once it is closer to the airport, it's always better, like within an hour. You know, it's so people like to be within that. So that's, I know they're doing the highway up to St. Thomas. So St. Thomas is opening up now. So, you know, I'm not a politician, but I'm just saying, you know, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready.
So are you thinking that there is a boom coming? Because we had somebody on the show about a year ago, and they were speaking about St. Thomas being really deprived because of, you know, the history of St. Thomas and the rebellions. And they didn't want, there was no investment in that part of town. But now it's starting to be realized that St. Thomas is one of the most beautiful parts of Jamaica. So do you see a boom coming to that part of Jamaica?
Yes, because it's untapped.
Right.
And then what was happening is the connectivity, the road was just terrible. So now they're building, the highway is building there. So you can come off in Manly Airport, and then you hit that highway, and you can, I think they're doing the highway go straight to Portland. So what is happening now, the whole Highland is going to be connected. So as I say, you can pick your poison. St. Thomas, if you didn't buy the property a year ago, the value now is probably, fits you how much it's, you probably know more than me. It's gone up.
Well, the value is more than double now.
Yeah.
Before the
because of the
highway,
highway.
nobody wanted St. Thomas. They'd be like, no. But right now, the
Mhm.
value is just gone through the roof.
Mhm.
Right.
All right. So
And we seem
right,
to
can
be
we?
we seem to be late to the party most of the
No,
time.
no, no. I mean, you're right on time. I mean,
Right.
I think now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. You're right on
Because it's
time.
only going
Uh,
up.
Yeah, and then the other direction, to Manchester, because everybody like live in different places. There's a new highway now goes straight into Manchester, so it make commute quicker between Kingston and Manchester. So that when you drive on that and you see the amount of land, you say, wow, was there so much land in the country? So it's opening up. So
Right.
as I say, you can pick and choose where you want and do your development. So, anywhere you choose, we're good to go. So I don't know if you don't mind us looking at the Coral Gardens because I have
Yes.
I have a 3 o'clock and then
Yes, I understand. So
mhm.
we're gonna put it up
Oh,
now.
okay, great. Right. So this one, we coin it Winchester 382 because it's 382 Winchester Terrace. So that's one of the things too. We try and give things some sexy names and make it look interesting. So this is a right. So this is a 3/4 acre property. Fitzy, if you don't mind me going, it's zoned now as multifamily because Fitzy got the covenant lifted some time ago. So it's a rectangle property to the top to the right. That's the access road. And then so what we decided to do, the land slopes down. So what we decided to do, put the road on one side and do a series of duplex, and it has double garage. So you can go to the next slide, please. Right. So this is a typical look and feel of what the townhouse would be like. I think we had explored 2 stories and 3 stories, and this is giving you so you have a double carport, which is important, but sorry, not a carport, it's a car park. So we didn't want to do a garage where you put a door or anything. Again, it is a gated community, so you don't necessarily have to lock up a garage. So if you're gonna go away for 3 months or 6 months, you just drop a cover over your car if you wish to, or just park it in there, crack your window, and you're good to go. So you live in England, you come from December to February, you're good to go because you have a gated community. So you don't have to be worried about somebody breaking into your car and and I'm sure if it still instills some maintenance in there so you can keep the landscape going. So we're trying to introduce a lot of sustainability in our design. And so we have rainwater harvesting, we have a water tank down the bottom, solar system for renewable energy. So we're introducing that. We try and squeeze some green area in the middle here, so you have a privacy going to each unit. Because you're gonna walk beside each other. So I mean, not that you won't live good with the neighbor, but you want a little privacy every now and then. And each unit has its own laundry in it. So that's private. So it's not an apartment, even apartments in Jamaica, we're putting what we call in-unit laundry. So it's no central laundry system. So
Right.
every unit have its own laundry. So those are important features in the development. Next slide, please. Right. So again, this is another one, which is a 2-story. So the 3-story was mainly because of the slope of the land, and then the typical units are 2-story units.
So just to
So
cut you a little bit, brother, the
mhm,
3
sure.
stories, what's the general square footage on the ones that we just saw prior to this one?
What was it? I think it's probably, if my memory serves me right, that's probably, we're looking at probably 3,000, 2,500, 3,000 for the 2-story. And then the 4-story goes up, I think, 4,000, 4,500, somewhere in that region, if my
So
memory
they're
serves me
very
right.
big units then.
Yeah, right. So, right. So you typically we try and keep the units under 3,000 square feet because of the price. So we
Right.
try and keep a unit for 2,500 square feet that give you about 400,000 US. I'm not sure how that convert back into pound because I mainly do my thing in the
Right.
US, but I should have looked at it. So that has proven to be economically prudent to keep houses under 500,000 US
Right.
because somebody might want to take equity out of their house and
Right.
then purchase this one. So Fitzy, we try and keep them, as you know the costing more than me.
Yeah.
There's a magic number that I've been working on and something, I mean, at some other point in time, I probably could do another presentation more comprehensive.
Yeah.
2,500 to 2,750 square feet.
Right.
and keeping the cost down because the cost is
Yes.
evolving. That works out to be a reasonable size house. But if you
Yeah.
continue now, we can show the floor plan so you can see the size of the so that's the context of the property. So continue. So this is renewable situation. We have the sewage, we have the parking, we introduce sustainable things to green the development and recycle the water, storage tanks for each unit of a storage tank, so we don't have to rely on the municipal water. Like for your garden, for because we do have drought, right? From time to time, there's no rain as much as we say we're without water, but we, the El Nino caused those issues. So continue.
In this time, we hand out time for stressing. In this time, we should all be investing. Getting knowledge should never be rejected. Every week, did you get the message? Get your tickets today, it don't take a second. Every Thursday, get 7. It's time to make this earth into heaven. So no need to worry, there's a blessing. No need for second guessing, it's good spiritual injection. It's a spiritual.